Hey, what's up, guys? I know that if you were listening to this show, it might be your first time, might be the second time, or maybe you're an active listener. I want to say I appreciate you for being here, and I'm excited for this episode. So this one is called Strength Training for Fat Loss and Why Weight Training Trumps Cardio, but it goes into so much more. We tap into setting sustainable goals. We talk about metabolism and how the whole metabolism thing is the most important thing. And if you do this whole process of losing weight wrong, it actually will negatively impact your metabolism. We talk about how to positively. We also talk about the results from some of my clients and some of those success stories. And we talk about parenthood, setting great examples for your kids. So much packed into this episode. It's a little longer one, so you might want to pause halfway and pick it up another time. But it's going to be an awesome one, guys. I'm super excited. So cue up the music and let's get into today's episode. Hey, what's up, guys? Coach Chris here, and welcome back to the Impact Strength Show. Today is episode 4, season 2. So I'm excited. Today we're going to be talking about strength training for fat loss and why it actually trumps cardio, right? Why weight training trumps cardio. So this is, it always comes up, and I think that this is one that I'm super passionate about, mainly because I always get a lot of hate on the interweb, right? When I go on Facebook and the Instagram, and I always like to post, stop doing cardio for weight loss, or stop doing so much HIIT for weight loss, right? And people really get mad because they like to do it. And but there's a lot of science behind it. So hopefully today I can kind of give you some of that science and hopefully change some of the things that you're doing to help you out to achieve some of those results a little bit faster, right? So how did we get here? We've been training people, last, 12 years. I've just been doing strength training. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a combination of strength and conditioning that I use, and I will break that down in this episode. But the reality is I like to do the strength training for fat loss instead, because most of the time people, it's what they need, right? They need to get stronger. They need, so if we can help them get stronger, if we can help them be healthier and live longer, and achieve the body composition that they want, then I think that is really what we're after. So, in my opinion, some people like hard workouts, like HIIT workouts, but some people don't. And that doesn't mean, and there's also people who spend hours on a treadmill. And I always literally whenever I'm walking by any cardio section. So when I'm not training here in my gym at Impact, I'm usually working out at Lifetime. And when I walk to go to do my yoga class on Sunday, that's right, I do my yoga to stay limber. I'm typically walking by the cardio section, and I see so many people on the Stairmaster, on the elliptical, on the treadmill. And, they'll be there forever. And the reality is, did they do anything that actually helps them? Now, I know the secret. I know the answer to that question, because obviously this is what I do. But they don't know. And I think that's kind of why I do this podcast, right? It's why I try to write blogs. It's why I post on Instagram and Facebook, is because anytime I see that, it really does frustrate me, because, this is why I got into the industry, was to be able to help people do the actual stuff. I think that there's a lot of things that are misleading in our industry. Most of my coaches or people I work with, they say, I'm always man, I hate the fitness industry. Oh, I hate the nutrition industry. And I really mean that sometimes. I love the fact that I'm a part of it, but I hate sometimes the different directions in which it can go. And when it comes to losing weight or losing body fat, to be specific, there's a lot of crap out there. There's a lot of things that confuse people, and there's a lot of things that are not safe. So first and foremost, that's why I kind of wanted to do this episode, was kind of dive in that. So before we dive into some of the deets on the strength training for fat loss, I also wanted to kind of catch you guys up on what's going on here at Impact, what's going on in my life. This part was important, as I was going to be shooting this show, because I didn't want it to just be always about science and all the boring stuff. I mean, some of you guys probably actually like the boring stuff, right? But so what's going on? Me and Alyssa. She's been working on our new promo video we just worked on with our baseball team. So I'm getting ready to post that today. So I'm super excited about that. Because we did it was about 6 weeks ago, 5-6 weeks ago, we brought in the Overbrook baseball team, and we did a whole day of testing and assessments. It was crazy. We had lots of energy in there. Like, the kids loved it. They were off the wall, and like, we got a really cool video. So I'm about to share that on Instagram and Facebook. So we're super excited about that. We're building the gym, making sure that things around here are working well. So one of the things that we did over the last few months was we built out our own app, the Impact Performance Training app. And this allowed us to be able to put our clients' programming inside of an app, the same that they would schedule their sessions and things like that. So it's really cool to kind of have everything synced into one place. Like, we can coach them with their nutrition in the app. We can give them their programs in the app. And we're able to track like every rep that they do, every set, right? How much weight they lift. And we've always been really big on that. So one thing that we've used since the beginning of when I opened Impact was the MyZone. MyZone essentially is like heart rate technology, and our clients would wear a belt around their chest, and this would show up on our TV. Now, this actually is going to tie into the strength training for fat loss, because we got so much information and data from our heart rate technology, because what it would show you were a couple different measures, right? It would say, like, in one corner, this is how many calories you burn for the session. There would be another corner where it's like, this is your current heart rate, right? So this one would change a lot. It would go up, it would go down. Then there was what was called MyZone effort points in the top corner. And this was like MyZone's way of rating how hard someone was working in their workout. And this was based on the information that it would gather during their training session. And then the other one was their heart rate max, so the percentage of their heart rate. So if somebody was in the red, for instance, that would be 90% of their heart rate max. And why is that important? Because if you're a coach, you don't want people working that hard, because they might pass out, and they're definitely losing muscle when they're working too much in the red, right? It would show if they're not working hard enough. So if they're in the blue, if they're in like 60%, it would help us challenge them more in their workout, and maybe say, hey, let's keep swinging that kettlebell for a couple more reps, or maybe we need to go up in our weight. So it gave us a lot of information. One of the biggest things that I learned during this process was that our strength workouts, so when our clients so this is how our system would break out. 2 days a week, they would come in and do a strength training program. So this was reps and sets. This was, super sets. We still use super sets to save time. It also helps us, burn fat quicker, right? But we might pair up a movement. So we might do a deadlift and an upper body exercise, right? We might do a lunge and a row, right? So we would pair exercises up in supersets, but they're still doing a workout based on building strength. Versus other days when they would come in and do a group workout, like our, what we can consider a Metcon or a metabolic workout, or a CrossFit style workout where it's more higher intensity. They would come in different days and do that workout. And what we did was we were able to take our data from the different people training and see, oh, wow, like when people are lifting like weights, they're actually burning more calories in their workout. And when they were doing HIIT, they would burn less. And like, it wasn't by a little bit. It was like 100 to 150, sometimes even 200 calorie differences that we would see. Like, so right away, if we had, say, a female coming in looking to change her body composition, we would be like, oh, wow, she's used to doing a lot of HIIT. And a lot of times, that would actually affect our metabolism in a negative way. So now all of a sudden we have them doing strength training and they start getting results, and it happens pretty quick. And they're wondering why. And it's because, like, although they were working hard during the other stuff, they weren't actually setting their body up for success. And when they came in and did strength training, a few things happened. They set themselves up for success, and they burned a lot of calories. So this was an important lesson that we learned. And that's what today's main episode is about. All right? So those are the couple things that are going on. We got the baseball team. We got our app, so we can track cool data like that. But we've been always kind of tracking data since the beginning, whether it was MyZone, but now we have it with the app. And then, and then my daughter, she's been keeping us very, very active, I should say. Everyone is always talking about her because she's like a little photogenic thing and when I share her on Instagram. But yeah, she's, she's 8 months. Yeah, so 8 months now, and I would say that the first year has been pretty insane. I actually don't even feel like it's been 8 months, but she keeps us on our toes. She's like pretty much almost walking now, which is kind of fun. So if you're out there and you're a parent and you're like wondering how to stay fit and all that stuff, definitely going to have some information for you in the future episodes because my workout routine has definitely changed since having a child. And also my nutrition routines have changed a lot. Mainly I don't eat anymore. It's like, hey, you want to like do bottles and clean up or do you want to eat? And it's like, yeah, usually we're going to pick the other one and go to bed. Like, no, we still eat, but it's definitely a lot harder to say the least. All right. So let's talk about this episode today specifically. So strength training for fat loss and the real reason why weight loss trumps cardio. All right, that's the official title of this one. And I wanted to start it off by saying like, hey, there's 3 things that we need to really look at, like when we're looking at any type of goal. And I start at fat loss because, in my opinion, most people are looking to put on muscle and lose body fat. Now, there are some people that only care about losing weight or body fat, and there's some people that only care about building muscle, right? I'm in the camp of body composition change. That is the people who I typically work with. That is the people who I am going to be able to help get their results the best and the quickest. And what I mean by that is like, my average client is very happy if I can help them lose 10 to 25 pounds, right? And put on lean muscle and look more toned and defined, right? Now, do I have other clients that, want to lose more? Yeah, and have we? Yeah, I think our record is Danny Gillespie. He lost, what did he do? He was like 109 pounds, and he did that in just under 10 months. So that was pretty crazy. That was like the record in this gym. And he kept it off, which was insane. Like normally, I'm not a big fan of extreme weight loss, but, Danny did it really well by, changing his diet. He was lifting weights and doing some conditioning, and he was able to do that. He was younger, so obviously it was a little bit easier for him. But we've also had, women who lost. I know, like my one client, Marie, she was big. She lost. She was big time, like executor of the plan. Like she lifted weights. She would do her cardio workout. She would do her nutrition. She would take her supplements. She lost like 66 pounds in our program. So not saying that we don't have big weight loss successes. They're pretty frequent, 55 pounds. My average, guy over 40 with weight to lose, they usually lose around 45 to 55 pounds in about a year. So depending on how you look at it, like to me, honestly though, that still looks like fat loss because those guys put on muscle and they lost that fat, right? So even if you're looking to lose 30, this is still going to help you. If you're looking to lose 50 pounds, it's still going to help you. If you're not looking to lose any weight whatsoever, but you're looking to maintain where you're at and still get stronger, well, then this is really going to help you. All right? So the first thing, the goals need to be achievable. I think that a lot of times when it comes to setting any type of goal, whether it's muscle or fat loss, we tend to like overestimate what we can do in a short period of time and underestimate what we can do in a long period. And there's like a specific quote, like we overestimate what we can do in 30 days, but we dramatically underestimate what we can do in a year. So I think I heard that from Tony Robbins. And so achievable. Here's what an example of not achievable. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are people who definitely achieve this, but not so achievable would look like, right? Lose 30 pounds in 6 weeks. As my exercise phys teacher in college used to say, if you want to lose weight real quick, like over 20 pounds, I can help you by but we would have to chop off a leg, right? Like it's not natural to be able to drop 30 pounds in 6 weeks for majority of the people out there. So that would be something that's not necessarily achievable. But now what would be achievable? Lose 5 to 10 pounds in 6 weeks is a very achievable goal. It's very achievable. I would say the 10-pound can be on the upper echelon because you're going to find out what is actually safe to lose weight, and this is what's next is it's got to be achievable, but it's also got to be sustainable. So I don't let my clients set goals and then adopt behaviors or habits that they're not going to be sustainable with in the future. Right? That is how we set people up for failure. And this is the part that I was talking about, that I hate the nutrition industry with a passion sometimes, or the fitness industry. Like, we sometimes give people the most unrealistic path to do anything, and then they fail miserably, and they blame themselves and never question the fitness expert because they heard it in a magazine or somewhere on an article. And it's very frustrating because a lot of the stuff that's being put out there is setting people up for failure. So here's why, when I say achievable, because this is what I can look at. I ran an 8-week challenge. We called it the incubator, and I wanted to just collect data. We looked and we saw that the average weight loss in 8 weeks was 9.6 pounds for a data set of 12 people. They all had different behaviors, as far as like, some were really, really good with following a nutrition plan. Some were really bad with following a nutrition plan. Some lost a lot of weight in the challenge. Some lost a little weight. But even the people that lost a little weight, I think the smallest amount was 6 pounds in the 8 weeks. So it showed that doing anything would actually do something. So so in 8 weeks, our lowest was like 6. Our highest was around 22, 24 pounds. And the commitment and execution was variable. So this is why I don't promise like crazy results for people, because I can't control what you're going to do at home, right? I can't control, how you're going to deal with stress. I can't control how many hours you're going to sleep, or what you're going to choose to eat, or how you're going to meal prep. But what I can say is I can give people achievable goals and give it to them in a way that is sustainable, that they will be able to adopt as their lifestyle. And why this is important, because if you're doing something and it's not sustainable, well, you're going to quit. You're going to burn out. Like, if you take on too much, like studies show, there's a great book, Atomic Habits. I'm almost done for the 3rd time. I got 30 minutes left on on Audible. I actually listen to it while I'm trying to put Kira to bed when she wakes up in the middle of the night looking for a bottle. 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., I've learned to stop getting upset and instead to get better. So I listen to Audible for an hour and get smarter. So, but in the book, it talks about like how when we adopt a habit, it needs to be something that's small. It needs to be something that's attractive, right? It needs to be something that's sustainable. And so, give you an example, like, hey, I'm going to go to the gym 1 time a week, right? If you're not working out at all and you're like, I'm going to start a training program and do 4 times a week, like, well, if you're going from nothing to 4 times a week, that's not sustainable. Therefore, it's also not achievable, right? From the get-go. But 1 time a week is very sustainable and very achievable. And if you're able to say, get yourself going in that process, by the end, you might average 2 times a week or 3 times a week, because habits have a way of building and we need momentum to actually get going. So the biggest thing is, when we're looking to lose body fat, change our composition, we can't do quick fixes, fad diets, and all these crazy things, because number 1, it's going to damage our body in the long term. But number 2, the plans are never sustainable, and the results that are being promised are usually not achievable for most people. They were achievable for a few people, which is why they were able to say it, but they're not achievable for most people. I would be lying to tell you that, like, every client that I work with gets results in my gym. That would be a lie. We shoot for 80%, but we have people that come to our gym and get 0 results, right? That is the truth. I would say 10%, it's a very small percent, but there's still a percent, right? But maybe the gym means something different to them. Maybe not getting results and maintaining is actually important for them. So that's another thing that's really big. Working out, eating healthy, doing all this stuff, like, it's important sometimes just to do for health. It doesn't always have to be about how people are going to perceive you. It doesn't have to be about like I think a lot of times our image and how we look and how we present ourselves to the world gets tied to our identity. So like, if we're fit, we feel like we're good enough. Where if we're fit, we feel like we belong. Like, but that's not the truth. You belong and you're good enough already. But like, getting healthy and getting fit for the sake of your health and wanting to be on this planet longer, right? And be a better human, Well, that's a good thing to be shooting for, right? That's where we should be focused at. That is a healthy relationship with food and exercise. That's what I shoot for with all of my clients, is a healthy relationship with food and exercise, because most of them are coming in with broken relationships with food and exercise. Let me give you an example. Needing to work out after a bad day of eating. Needing to work out before a bad night of eating. Right? So it's like, I'm going out tonight. I got to make sure I get that workout in because I got to burn off the calories. And then so they're going to offset with the other calories. And then we mix the calories together and I should come out where I don't do any damage. Right? That's not good. That's not a good relationship. Right? Like looking at, oh, I ate this food, slice of pizza or 2 slices of pizza, that's 500 calories. So I need to go on the treadmill for a certain period of time to burn 500 calories. Like, that's not a healthy relationship, right? So going to the gym and smashing your body into the ground 5-6 days a week because you have a physique goal, that is not a healthy relationship with exercise. So I think it's really, really important that I'm putting out the right message on this podcast, because a lot of times I'm going to be talking about the shoulds and the tacticals and the things that we can do to improve. But like if it's coming from the wrong context, right, then I'm putting out the wrong message and then I'm just like everybody else and I'm not doing any good for the world, right? And we might as well not even do the show. So first and foremost, if you're looking for quick fixes, this is not the show for you. If you're looking for more of the fad, like I'm not going to tell you to do keto. Like that's not what this is about. I'm not going to be like how to fit McDonald's into your keto diet, right? You know, do we do booty building training programs? Yes, because like we understand like certain people want, but like we're not going to be flashing booties all over Instagram and like only making booty content because it's a fad, right? Like I want people to get stronger. I want people to feel better. And hopefully you're able to take this show and the content that we deliver in here and not only impact your life, but possibly trickle it down to your significant other, your children, you know, your family. So many, the other day, like not to go off tangent on a riff, everyone that knows me knows that's what I do. So I'm going to be real on the show. But don't worry, I got notes to come right back. But so the other day we had a testing day and one of my clients, Anjali, came in and her husband brought her daughter. And it was one of the most fantastic moments of my fitness career because I watched Anjali go up, pile 225 pounds on the barbell and lift this thing in front of her husband and her daughter. And like, yo, her husband is in the military, he's ex-military. So like, I'm sure he's strong, but like, I don't know. I might go put my money on it that Anjali might be out deadlifting him right now. Like, I don't know if my man's putting up 225 right now. And she just did, and she did it in front of her daughter. But the coolest moment of that was that her daughter was like, oh, go ahead, mommy, yay. She was cheering her on. And then, like, we didn't get it on film, so we had to do it again. And then, like, she did it again, and her daughter got to see it again. So she was like, yeah, my mommy's so strong. And then I, like, talked to her about it. And then one day she said, yeah, now my daughter's saying, hey, like, can I go to the gym and lift weights? I need to get stronger. I need to be strong like my mommy, right? Like that is why we do what we do, right? Because it's, like, impacting the next generation, right? Like her daughter's not going to grow up saying, I need to be skinny or I need to like be thin or like, oh, I need to like look good with the right filter on my Instagram, right? Her daughter is getting an example of what a strong female looks like and she wants to emulate that in the future. And I think that is why I do it. Like, I'm so happy to have a daughter, to have my mom, to have my wife, to have such strong women in her life. And to be able to grow up seeing me run a gym so that, and then being in that athletic environment so that naturally, right? Because people go, well, Chris, you know, you can't force things on your children. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. But if I am shaping the environment in which my daughter grows up in, well, it will have a huge impact on how she perceives the world and what she deems important. So I want my daughter to have the right values, which is being healthy, being strong, right? Being fit, being athletic, being smart, right? being beautiful, but not just like how she looks, about being beautiful on the inside, being a beautiful person to other people, like caring about other people's feelings and making sure that she doesn't put her own over other people, right? Like those are the values and the character traits that I at least feel that are important to me. And that is what I want to instill in my daughter and the people that I work with, right? So the last thing in these three is believable. So achievable, sustainable, and then now believable. So it's sustainable. Let me tie this back in because I did write this note. Like what is sustainable? Well, safe weight loss, right? Healthy weight loss. And I put the quotes up there because I do believe that there can be a little bit of health, like, 0.5 pounds to a pound. All right, let's put the numbers out there. A week. So it's safe and healthy to lose 0.5 pounds per week to 1 pound a week. That is a healthy range that we would consider sustainable. And a lot of people don't realize, but like think about that. I literally just said earlier, if you like, you might want to go rewind this whole thing back. But I talked about the average guy over 40 that comes to my gym and what their results were. So I know Don specifically. I love him because his before picture has him drinking a beer. he played drums. He's a custodian. Older guy, just looking to get healthy. He was on different medications, and he was on 8 different medications when he first walked in. He got down to 3 by the end of the year. He was down to 3. He was taking 8 different medications, not 8 pills, 8 different medications, and was down to 3 by the end of the year. And he still drank beer, right? But he lost 55 pounds in a year. I believe Brett was somewhere, I think Brett was 45 in a year. Yeah, he was 45 in a year. Art, he's actually older. He was in his 60s, and he was in the same range, around the 40s or the 50s. Sorry, I can't pull out these stats, exact. There's so many clients getting so many results. It's hard to keep track of all the results that we get, baby. All right, not trying to brag, but guys, we're really good at what we do, right? I wouldn't be doing this show if we weren't, right? I wouldn't have that, I wouldn't feel authentic being up here talking about what the shit you should be doing if I didn't test this stuff and do this for the last decade. So I think now, and if anyone that knows me knows how I am and how I think, so I would be like, oh my God, I'm such a fraud if I was out there talking about things that I didn't really feel authentic about, right? I wouldn't allow myself to get on here and do that, and that's just who I am. There's plenty of people that would do it. It's just not who I am, right? So tying this in, guys, sustainable. So when we look at 1 pound a week, there's 52 weeks in a year. Whoa. And you're telling me that your average guy over 40 can lose 45 to 55 pounds in a year? Yeah, because it was 1 pound a week, sustainable, achievable results. So what would you say earlier? Most people will overestimate what they can do in the first 30 days, and they will dramatically underestimate what they can do in a year. I see, I don't even know the percentage, 90% of the people that come to my gym in 6 weeks, they tell me, I want to lose 15, 20 pounds. So they dramatically overestimate. And they want to lose it. It's not that they don't want to lose it. It's just that they don't realize how hard it actually is. Until you actually get inside and you realize that you need to cook your meals. You can't do DoorDash and Grubhub and pick up Panera and Chick-fil-A and just eat. Yeah, Alyssa's looking. She's like, bitch, that's what you be doing. Wait, am I allowed to say that on here? I don't care. You be eating fast. No, I don't eat fast food. I do eat out a lot, but I don't eat fast food. I eat at a restaurant. I'm bougetto, right? So, bougetto, fingers snap. But at the end of the day, that was sustainable for those guys. They didn't have to do a lot of crazy stuff to do that. But a lot of people come in and they're like, oh, in the first 30 days, I'm going to lose 15 pounds. And they do not have any of the skill sets in place to do that. They don't know how to plan out their day. They don't wake up at a proper time to make a breakfast or a lunch, right? They're not planning out their dinners. They're not eating in a calorie deficit. They're snacking. They're eating too much cheese. They're using too much oil. They put too much stuff in the drinks that they have. They don't give up the alcohol. They're not sleeping 7 and 8 hours a night. night. They take 0 supplements to plug up nutrient deficiency. The list goes on, guys. Like, a lot of people don't realize it, but you need to do most of those things. Like, I'm not going to say you need to do all of those things to be successful, but successful people are doing a lot of those things in that list. So when people come in, their expectation is, if I put forth any effort, then that will result in and it's crazy because when we really think about it, putting in a small amount of effort automatically is going to equal a disproportionate amount of results. Like, where does that happen anywhere? Yeah, so the biggest thing is that understanding, like, hey, we're not gonna crush it all the time in the beginning, because the beginning we actually need to put down a foundation. So for most people in their first, few days, weeks in training, we're putting down the foundation that's going to lead to fat loss in the earlier period of their success journey and the end. But like, it's really important to understand how to go about it, what mindset to go into it with. If you go into a weight loss journey saying, I need to get rid of 20 pounds in 6 weeks, you're going to do a lot of desperation type things. And every time we do one of those desperation type things, it makes it harder for us to actually get to our desired body composition in the future. And we're going to explain that a little bit more. All right, so believable, so achievable, sustainable. What's sustainable? 0.5 pound to 1 pound. Believable, your belief in your ability to actually reach the goal. So this is why we can't say, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks, because most of us are saying it, but it doesn't actually mean anything. We're just saying, this is my goal, but we don't actually believe that we can do that. So why don't we set a goal as something that we actually believe that we can do, and something that's actually going to affect the outcome of what we're trying to achieve. So what I might mean is, like, instead of saying I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 6 weeks, why not set the goal at, I want to work out 3 times a week for the next 6 weeks, right? And then we'll just see where that takes us. Because it's about the behaviors. It's not the outcome. So many people make the mistake of setting the goal as the outcome, but the reality is we need to set the goal, like the goals and the behaviors need to be the process. We need to set the process that will equal the outcome, right? Because if we're only thinking about the number, we can't control the number. But we can control how many times we go to the gym. We can control, how many alcoholic beverages we have in 6 weeks. We can control, if you're prepping your meals or doing your shopping, right? These are things that are in your control. So I would say focus on those things and pick the habits based on the things you can control. And then let's see what the outcome is. Because when we set behaviors and habits, if we get one habit in place, then we can layer another one. Once we layer that one in, we can layer another one. And then what happens is what's called the compound effect. It's a compounding effect, right? So here's why it's important, because weight loss isn't linear. Like, even though these people lost 45 pounds in a year, 55 pounds a year, 10 pounds in this, or 9 pounds in 8 weeks, it wasn't linear. There were weeks where they didn't lose anything. Prime example, I had a client, Andrew, who came in and he was really, really good through his first 6 weeks. He lost about, I think it was 10 pounds. In the first 6 weeks, 10 to 15 pounds. But then he had this massive jump, from his end of his 6 week for the next 8 weeks, he had lost 15 to 20 pounds in that gap. Now what happened was, in that period, in the first period where he only did 10 pounds, he was setting the foundation. He was getting his body in a position to actually lose fat. And what I mean is, he was eating some of the right foods, right? So he changed the way that he ate. So now his body was getting the nutrients it needed. He now had built this habit of working out 2-3 times a week. So it took some time for his body to register those register the results from working out, right? He put on some muscle mass. So at the end of that, he had built a habit of coming to the gym, changing how he ate. What did we do in the next phase that jumped him a 20-pound weight loss over the next 10 weeks? Well, so he was doing 2 pounds a week. What did he do? Well, we focused on, we gave him a protein goal, So we told him how much protein he needed to eat each week, or each day, I should say. And he took BCAAs and Test Storm. So in the beginning, he was just doing the behaviors and the habits, and then his body was now ready. So even in that 10-week span, it wasn't like he was just losing consistent weight. There was a week where he would lose no pounds, then a week where he might drop 5, and then maybe nothing, and then 3, and then 7, right? So a lot of times we think that our journey is going to look on this straight line linear path, and the reality is it's not going to do that. And this is why it's so much more important to focus on building strength, building your foundation, building up your metabolism, because it's going to lose you. That's how you get the chunks to come off in the future, right? Because in the beginning, right, things that actually affect your weight loss, your metabolism, and specifically your basal metabolic rate, so how many calories you burn each day. This is directly related to how much muscle you have on your body. So if you're not doing strength training and you're not building muscle, you're effectively not building up your metabolism. So if you're able to put on a pound of muscle, that's an additional 50 calories per day that your body is burning in calories. So if we help a client put 5 pounds on, that's roughly 250 calories, give or take some, to 300 calories per day that they're burning more than they used to. So that's why we do strength training, is because if I can help them eat more food or create a bigger deficit without smashing them with cardio workouts so that they don't want to come back, because most people enjoy a good strength training workout. It's not overtaxing. There's rest in between. They're seeing their body actually change, right? Their muscles are getting more developed in the process. So there's a lot of benefits in doing it that way, right? Now, if we're able to boost your metabolism, right, we're going to change how many calories per day that you're burning, right? So if you have more muscle on you and now you go do a workout, well, you're burning more calories in that workout than you used to. Right? So this is really important, because if you crash diet, you affect your metabolism in a negative way. You actually lose muscle. So when you work out, you burn less calories. Whoa. So that's what's happening, guys. When you do cardio, right, you actually lower your metabolism. You lower your metabolic rate. So this means that anytime you do a workout or anytime you just do anything, you actually burn less calories per day than you used to. This is why when you go back to your old eating habits, you actually gain weight, right? Because you didn't build your metabolism. And the only way that we can actually build our metabolism is by building strength and increasing the amount of protein that we eat on a regular basis, so that we're building muscle and raising that metabolism in a healthy way, right? This means that you can actually eat more food and still be losing weight. So this is how we do it, right? We get you to put on more muscle. Now you can eat more food and still lose weight. That is the goal. If you want to lose weight and feel hungry and starving all the time, then go ahead and do that route. But I'm going to teach people how to do it in a way that's sustainable and achievable and enjoyable, right? I love eating. I talk to people all the time. They're always like, oh, well, you don't get it, Chris. You eat. No, I eat like crap sometimes. Not all the time. I eat cereal random times. I'm definitely a candy-aholic. And I got a sweet spot for Ben & Jerry's ice cream. But here's the thing. People try to get me to do the Halo Top stuff and the fake. I hate it. Can't. I need the real deal Holyfield. I'll take the calorie hit. But hey, but if I'm serious, if I'm in a cut, I'm probably not eating ice. You know what I mean? I think there has to be that decision. I think when we're talking about behaviors, since we are talking about behaviors, is you're actively going to the workout. You're actively putting in that work. Actively make some decisions, guys. Actively make some decisions that are going to benefit you, right? Maybe you do got to cut back on alcohol. I'm not saying you can't have it, but if you're using it too much, maybe you need to cut it out a little bit, cut back, right? Because it does affect your metabolism. So building up your metabolism, increasing your metabolic rate. We talked about weight loss not being linear, right? So this is why we got to focus on building strength, because I always tell people focus more on your performance-based goals in this process. So if you come in and you can't do any push-ups, but in 90 days, we can get you to do 10 push-ups, right? A lot of things would have needed to happen in that 90-day period to get to that goal. You most likely have more muscle and are stronger. You most likely are probably a little bit leaner, right? When we think about like relative body weight, right? Relative strength, we think about like, how much mass you have on your body. Well, if you're able to get your body weight down, you've literally just increased your relative body strength.
You can keep talking.
I was just like cutting so that you could edit. I was just cutting so you can go back and edit. So by increasing your relative body strength, right? So if we get leaner, we get stronger. We focus on the performance-based goals, and all of a sudden, like a lot of things are changing in our body in a very positive way that are going to lead to big-time results in the future. Let me give you an example. Say you come in and you're just starting off and you're doing body weight squats. Then you add a kettlebell to it. Then you add 2 kettlebells. So now all of a sudden you're squatting with, say, 60 pounds of weight in your hands. Well, the amount of muscle that needed to be built up to be able to do that squat with that load would mean that we've increased your metabolic rate, and most likely we have burned some body fat in the process. So like there's this change that's going to happen in your body and how it performs, how it looks, and it's going to change how much like your composition changes, right? Like how much body fat you have on your body. That changes, right? So, but we're not focused on changing our body fat in that process. We're focused on getting stronger, building muscle, and the result, because of us focusing on that process, is that we get leaner, we boost our metabolism, and we allow our body to be a fat-burning machine. Like that is why we are saying that the strength training trumps the cardio. And the biggest reason is my last one, which is what I call the energy switch. All right, now this is a really, really, really important one. Because we're going to talk about the 3 different style of trainings that I think that we can kind of fit things into. You have HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. You have strength training, and then you have what I would consider steady state cardio. So this is bikes, if you like, spin kind of gets lumped into, I would say HIIT. I would say because it's so high intensity, but like going on a treadmill for 30 minutes or an hour, going on elliptical for 30 minutes or an hour, like long steady state cardio. That is what we're talking about here. So HIIT. Why is it a problem? So HIIT burns sugar, meaning our body produces, we have protein, we have fat, and we have carbs, right? So carbs are sugar, and HIIT uses carbs in order to fuel the exercise. Strength training, it uses carbs as well. But cardio uses fat. Now here's where it gets interesting. HIIT, because of the intensity, although it burns carbs, it also taps into lean muscle mass. So when the intensity is too high for our body to use carbs, or we're not eating enough carbs in our diet, our body will start tapping into our lean muscle mass and we'll start losing muscle. So literally doing HIIT actually lowers your metabolism, specifically if you're not eating properly to support that type of training. All right, that's very important because people think that they just got to go do the next boot camp and work out really, really, really hard. And then they look up one day and they're like, man, like, I'm not getting the results that I want to see. Like, I'm actually not as toned and defined, right? And that's why. It's because you're actually, in some situations, I'm not going to say in most, but a lot of people end up burning muscle and gaining fat. Because in the process of losing this muscle, you're still eating at maintenance or slightly above, so your body's easily putting on fat. If you're burning less calories than you used to, well then, even if you were like, let's give you an example. Say maintenance calories. We burn 1,500 calories a day at rest or in movement. Say we now eat 1,500 calories a day. That is what we would consider maintenance, right? Your body's not going to go up or down. It's going to maintain its weight and its body fat levels for the most part. Now, say you were doing HIIT and you lowered your metabolism. So now instead of burning 1,500 calories a day, you're now burning 1,300 calories a day because you're crash dieting and you're doing high intensity workouts. So you're now burning 200 calories less per day. So say you still ate the same 1,500 calories. Well, now you're in a 200 calorie surplus each day. So over a period of time, once you reach 3,500 calories, you will have gained a pound of weight. So this is why if someone's doing HIIT and they look up 90 days down the road, they're like, wow, my body composition has changed and not in a way that I like it. Now, let's flip the script. Say you're 1,500 calories, same exact person. Now they're eating 1,500 calories per day, but we put on, 3 pounds of muscle. So now, what is that going to take them up to? 1,650. So now, instead of burning 1,500 calories per day, they're now burning 1,650. So here we are still eating the same 1,500 calories per day. We've now created a deficit of 150 calories without doing anything different. So you have the choice. You can just stay at those calories, which you probably have built a habit at, and that's natural, and it'll be a slower process of losing the weight, but you will get there. Or you can maybe do a little bit of a calorie deficit and lower the amount of calories and increase that deficit a little bit, right? But that's the beauty of this, is that you get to choose. And I find that most people like to eat food. So if I can get you to burn more calories and still eat something that you feel satisfied and you're not like really hungry, and we can lose the weight slowly, well, I find that usually people are going to do that more sustainably, and it's actually more achievable over time. And that's why we have those that's why I look at what we do in a year versus what we do in 6 weeks with someone, right? Because it's a year that's really going to show all the habits and all the things that this person has changed and all the amazing things that they did to get to this point. So the energy switch and why it's what it's called. So if we burn sugar in our workout, like carbs, well, at rest, we're going to burn the opposite, right? So if we burn carbs in our workout, at rest, we burn fat. If we burn fat in our workout, at rest, we burn carbs. So this is why when someone goes for a long distance cardio run, like going for a couple mile run, they get home and they are starving for carbs because they've most likely depleted their carbs, number one, because a part of it's going to burn up during the workout, but their body was burning fat for the majority of the run as long as the intensity was low enough. So now at rest, their body is searching for carbs. So it comes in a form of cravings, people craving and eating savagely. I can remember like my big run days from baseball where we had to do like Wawa runs. I would just savagely eat like a bowl of pasta or like a sandwich, and like it was never enough. I just needed to keep crushing it. And there's a lot of different reasons, from cortisol levels spiking and your body wanting to use more carbs to do blah, blah, blah. But we'll talk about that in another episode. But at the end of the day, if you burn fat in your workout, you'll burn carbs. So why we actually use strength training is so that we burn carbs in our workout, and then at rest, we tap into our body fat. So the extended periods of time when you're not in the gym and you're not working out, we are actually still in recovery from that workout, and your body's burning fat to recover. Now, the same thing happens in HIIT, but we just said that because the intensity is sometimes too high, we end up burning a lot of valuable muscle in the process. So the way we like to use HIIT in our system is at the end of a strength training workout as a metabolic finisher. So we will lift weights, and at the end, we will do 5 minutes of high intensity cardio. This is to kind of jumpstart that process, what we call afterburn or EPOC, so that post-workout sounds like there's like a helicopter landing on our roof. So this is essentially what allows us to burn more calories after the workout. So we strategically lift weights, and like we said in the beginning, like you're going to burn more calories doing strength training because you're working harder, and then we're going to do metabolic conditioning at the end. This is going to make sure that you're burning more calories post-workout, and then because you did all that burning of the carbs and stuff, now you're burning fat at rest. And there you have it, my friends. That is our secret. We do strength training, we do HIIT, but only a little bit. It's like glue. Like I think it was like, what was it, third grade? Mr. Lewis, my teacher, my art teacher, he'd be like, a little dab of glue would do. Like, because I used to put like, and then like I'd stick it down and glue would just shoot out of the whole picture. A little dab will do. That's how I like to use cardio, right? A little dab will do. All right, and that's going to really set you up for success, because remember, when we say strength training for fat loss, it's not just about, the workout. Like, there's so many reasons. Number one, the workout itself, you're burning more calories. Number two, building strength will increase your metabolism. Number three, when you boost your metabolism, you can eat more food. So this means it gives you more room for error. If you have a bad weekend, it's not going to throw you off because you're already turning your body into a fat-burning machine. Versus the opposite, if you just did HIIT and starvation diets and all that stuff all the time, well, you would be lowering your metabolic rate. Therefore, every decision that you make with food matters, because it will, boom, balloon out of control before you know. So that is why I see our industry, our diet industry, nutrition, fitness, wherever you look at it, at a whole, is that there's two ways to go about this. One, starve your way skinny, which don't work and only sets you up for failure in the future, or do it in a way that's healthy and sustainable, which is building muscle and adopting healthy eating behaviors and having a good relationship with food and exercise. You need to be able to do it forever. We have a line in our gym, it started from Training for Warriors, but 4D, 4E, 4 days a week forever, right? You need to be moving your body. So how I like to train, right now I'm not training exactly on this regimen. We're doing a lot of videos, so I'm not even going to front. I'm not going to be out like this is my routine, but see, I sometimes aren't always on with my routine. 2 days a week of strength, one type of workout that's going to make my heart rate get elevated, so a cardio, short cardio workout, and then I do yoga as my fourth workout, right? I do yin yoga. It's a stretching yoga. Some people don't consider it as powerful as the other yogas, but it's just perfect for me. But I like to do that as my recovery day. It's an active recovery workout, but it's 4 days a week, and eventually maybe I might get to being able to train 4 days a week. But until now, I'm easing up and building habits and getting a routine set so that I do not overload myself and burn out and set myself up for failure. So it's not about what I can do in the next 30 days of my journey. It's what I'm going to be able to do sustainably for the rest of my life. So run things through that filter. Make your decisions with that in mind. And remember, this ain't about anybody else but you. So like, you need to get real with who you actually want to be, what it is that you want to achieve. If you want a composition change, that's fine. I didn't shoot this episode to say that everyone needs to be a certain weight or needs to lose weight or anything, right? There's certain people that want to improve that process or learn about that process. But I always tell my clients, if you don't love the person that you're staring at right now, at whatever weight you're at or whatever muscle mass you're at, I promise you, it ain't going to change when you lose 20 pounds. In fact, it gets worse, because when you find out that losing the weight didn't fix the problem, it makes you more depressed. And that's the reality of the thing. So you got to find true happiness in the actual process, in the journey. Like, find happiness in showing up to the gym each week because you told yourself that you were going to do that and you're keeping your word, right? Find happiness in the process of going to the supermarket and buying vegetables and making them, because you know that it's going to help you in the long term live a healthier life. Because for some of you guys, you know, you might have family members that maybe didn't live that long. And I know that, like, sometimes that's in the back of your mind, how you want to be there for your family and you don't want to go out that way, that you want to be there and you want to be present. Some of you may have a family member that lost their mobility or their ability to, like, live a healthy, happy life in their elder age. So strength training might be important so that you can keep that up for the rest of your life, and it has nothing to do with fat loss, right? So I think it's important. We shot this to draw you in, obviously, because most people are like want to figure out the next secret to losing body fat. But it's important to make sure that we're shaping you for success and with the right mindsets and skill sets that are going to help you in the future. So this was a little longer one, but remember those 3 things. They're going to really help you, right? Building your metabolism, not obsessing at results because weight loss isn't linear, and then understanding that energy switch. So like, stop spending hours on the treadmill. It's not helping you get to your goal faster. Go figure out how to lift weights safely, get stronger, build muscle. I promise you'll like that transformation and what your body turns into when you are stronger and you feel more confident and you're like able to do things that you didn't think you could do, right? So that's what this is about. And it's about also, if you're a mom out there, showing your kid what it means to be strong too, because that's really cool as well. But guys, that's it. That's all I got for you today. I appreciate you for giving me your time. It's the most valuable asset that you own. And if you want to check out more, you can always check us out on the interweb at www.impact-performance-sj.com, or you can check us out on YouTube. Search at Chris Lingham on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram at hashtag, whatever the user handle thing, Chris_Lingham. And yeah, guys, so I'm looking forward to sharing more informative conversations with you to help you in your transformation journey. So if you ever got questions, shoot me a DM, shoot me anywhere, find me. I'll put a bat signal in the air, and like we'll maybe come or send me a carrier pigeon. Maybe you can like hook one of the notes up to their leg and then send it here to Voorhees, and we'll get it, and then maybe we'll do a podcast on it. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.